Hello everybody, this is Edward, and I just want to give a quick overview of our main menu because this is the most important menu and we're gonna start using it pretty much right away. So again, as I said, it's got global menus. It's from File, Edit, Modify, Create, Display, Window, Assets, and Help, and everything in between those menus is a module-based menus. So which we will talk about as we start talking about a specific module. So when we start talking about modeling, we're going to talk about modeling tools. When we start talking about animation, we're going to switch to an animation module tools. But so far, let's take a look at the global menu. So, of course, file is a pretty direct. We're not going to talk about every function in here, but just in general, this is where we create new scene, when we open an existing scene, where we save scene, or of course, we can use hotkeys for here as well, and also some additional options. Customizable options are available to us here under the these boxes here, option boxes. We can import different types of objects. For example, not necessarily a native Maya scene, but we can actually import things that are in a different format using the import menu, and of course export things out of Maya by using the export all or export selection. And this is where we also would set our project, which is a very important topic in Maya, and we'll actually probably dedicate a whole little video for that. So when we are starting to work on a specific project, we need to set up a directory for that, and this is what this window is, or this option here, or this function does. So under edit, we've got also a very generic edit operations: undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, delete. Of course, we can hit delete on the keyboard and delete things. Select tool, which is basically our very simple selection tool that we see under the toolbox. So here, if we go under the UI toolbox, this is our select tool. It's the same thing as going under edit, select tool, or lasso tool, or paint selection tool. We can also select all or deselect all, select hierarchy if there is a bunch of objects are grouped together. Instead of, we can basically select the top parent of the whole hierarchical tree. We can duplicate, and again, I'm gonna skip through a couple of them: group, parent, and unparent things. So very simple edit operations. I think most of them sort of speak for themselves. And under modify, we get a little bit more into changing our objects. So here are our transform tools: move, rotate, and scale, exactly the same as what we see here: move, rotate, and scale. And we've got some additional tools here, like aligning tools, and we're probably gonna again just take a whole video on talking about how to align, what are the different ways to align objects. And some basic conversion. We can convert an object from one type to another, and so forth. And now we're finally getting to a create menu. Under the create menu, we've got all the functions that allow us to create predefined elements. So if we need an additional camera, we'll just say create camera, or camera with aim, or aim and up. And again, we'll talk about these different types of cameras later. We want to create a curve. Here is our different types of curves that we can create. We can create a text in here. Just simply go into the option box, so you can type whatever. There we go, and hit apply, and it's basically gonna create that text for us. And we've got, of course, different options how this text is created. Is it created out of the curve, or polygon type object, or NURB type object, or subdivision object, and so forth. So again, here is the create menu. We can create our lights here. We can create other things like groups and sets, again more specific things. And of course, up at the top we've got a set of primitives that we can create, either NURB primitives or polygonal primitives, subdivision primitives, or we've got also volume primitives. We're gonna start with just for now using the polygon primitives, and we can pick the type of shape that we want to start modeling with from here. One option that I should point out is this interactive creation. It's definitely a personal preference. If this option is checked and you decide to create a cube, Maya will ask you to drag the dimensions of that cube, and that could be your preference. Or instead you can uncheck this option, and if you go under and decide to create a cube, clicking on this cube will now create a basic cube in the center of the world with a predefined dimensions, which is 1 unit by 1 unit by 1 unit, and with a predefined number of subdivisions, which is again something that we can always change by going into these option boxes. So again, you see those option boxes everywhere. So here, if I want to have more subdivisions, I can actually go into the option box and change that. Hit apply, and now we have a cube that's been subdivided and have 3 sections in those 3 dimensions. Display, we kind of touched on that, simply deals with what we are displaying, either the user interface elements. We have some heads-up display features here that allow us to keep track of different things. We've got hide and show options here, so we can actually hide specific types of objects or show them. We also have options here to display components for a specific type of object. So again, if we want to see our polygons and also see vertices or points on those polygons, we can just click on here and they will show up. But again, in general, the display menu deals with the display, and we'll get to learn all these functions as we proceed with our future demos. And the last, I would say, is the window. This is where we keep all of our major editors, beginning from preferences, Maya preferences, our different editors that allow us to manipulate the animation, our textures, and so forth, organizing scenes like outliner and hypergraph, where we can adjust the 2-dimensional coordinate system here. So, and again, this is something that we're gonna get into as we learn each specific aspect of Maya. So all right, let's move on. Thank you.